So the one aspect George talks about that you can really apply in trading right away is this idea of not focusing on necessarily gaining money, but focusing on protecting the money you have. And this is really a huge advice because you see so many people, so many traders who the only thing they think about and they care about is to gain money, right? They want to have the perfect setup, the perfect trade. But the idea in trading is really to protect the money you have, not focus on making so much money. So the one exercise he gave was to basically just try to take a trade, random trade, any direction, like with any just a small amount, and then try to close the trade in profit. Okay, so the trade might go any direction or not, but the idea is to try to close the trade in profit, so you can try to make a profit with this, and then you change your psychology of not focusing on making money, but focusing on protecting the loss, right? And so that's a quick exercise you can try. So don't try it with a big amount. I didn't try it yet, but it's something you can definitely try. And I see we have 3 people now, so let me if you guys have any question, I'll do my best to answer the question. And let me just go right here. And don't forget that those Q&As now are going on the podcast. So probably on Wednesday or Thursday you'll be able to see the this Q&A on the podcast. What I do is I cut the bad stuff and I put only the good stuff. You guys can listen to it while you're on the go or something. And the other thing I want to talk about today is the fact that I had about 3 4 people reaching out to me this week, and somehow those like all those 4 people were blowing up their accounts. Either they've been blowing up their account this week or really recently, and I cannot believe that because well, like it's totally possible, but you get so much information on the podcast and so many things that are supposed to help you that if you are gonna blow up your account while you're doing something wrong, okay, and either there's 2 reasons for you to blow up your account. Either you're gonna risk too much for every single trade, or you're gonna have zero money management. You're not gonna protect your money. Okay, so either you risk too much, or you have no plan. Okay, those are the 2 ways you can blow up an account, and it kind of pisses me off because it's something that some people go through. I didn't go through that, but they see it as kind of normal sometimes. And yes, it's normal. Like I have a guest on my podcast, Ryan Aaron. You can check out his interview. This is artofstate.com/Ryan Aaron. I'll put the link below as well, or on the podcast you're listening to this on the podcast. But he blew up, I think, 9 accounts. Okay, 9 accounts is like huge. Can you imagine going through 9 accounts that you blow up? Like it's like blowing up all the time. But he saw the progression over time, and he saw that something was getting big, like better and better. So that's something that is useful. But the thing I have trouble understanding is people who risk too much. They don't do anything to change, and they keep blowing their account all the time. They keep going through it, and they keep blowing up all this freaking time. But they don't do anything different the next time. Okay, so you need to see trading as something that you experiment with. Whereas if you're gonna do something wrong, well, you better figure it out pretty soon, and you better identify it, and you better journal about it to figure out a way to do better the next time. Okay, and this is why I talk often about identifying your losses and just identify your weaknesses, because you have weaknesses right now, but you also have good points. You also have strength, and you need to identify both, because then you can start to identify how to profit from your strength, how to work on your weaknesses. What can you do about them? It's not true that you cannot change your weaknesses, and it's not true that you should work on your strength. You have to work on both, and you have to put both in place. So to come back to this topic of blowing up an account, yeah, I've seen people who blow up like 5 accounts, but they don't do anything different. And the number one reason that I see is the thing about money management. So I said there's 2 reasons why you can blow up an account: money management or no plan. But most people, I think, is money management. Why? Because people want to grow their account quickly. They go into trading with I don't know, like depending on what you guys have, but you guys can let me know. I know people who go into trading with an account of $1,000, and they expect to make a living from it. So guess what you need? If you have $1,000, or let's put it more simply, if you go in trading with $5,000 and you want to make a living with it, well, what do you have to do? You have to look at what expenses you have every single year. Let's say you have expenses of I don't know, like $5,000 per month. Let's say you live pretty well, $5,000 per month, depending on where you live. That might vary, but $5,000 per month, meaning if you want to survive with this, you're gonna have to double your account the first month. Then you're gonna have to do 50%. Then you're gonna have to do 25%. Okay, so it's gonna decrease over time because you have more and more money in your account. But guess how tough it is to double an account in 1 month, and guess how tough it is to do 50% the next month. Okay, it's really really tough. It's almost impossible. And I know people who do it for 1 month. Okay, it's possible. People do it, but guess what happened the next month? It's not gonna turn well. They're gonna have a problem the next month because it's not sustainable. And you're much better at this point to have a smaller return per month, but a bigger account. Okay, and you don't need to be the one who has the money in his account. Someone else can have the money. You don't need to be the one who's trading his own money. You can be trading some like other people's money. But if you tell those people that you have a return of 5% per month, they're gonna be super happy because nothing is gonna give you 5% per month. Not like real estate's not gonna give you that. The stock market investing is not gonna give you that. But trading can give you that, okay, if you do it correctly. And it's not too hard to get 5% per month. So people who wanna grow up their account quickly, right? They want to risk a lot per trade. They want to risk 25%. And I see like 50%, 70% per trade, or just all in because they want to go quickly. They have no choice. But if you can just go like on the side, think about being consistent instead of being, instead of having a huge return, so being consistent instead of being the super trader, right? You're going to see that doors open to you. Opportunities are going to open to you because you have this consistency, and it's so crucial to have that. So if people can just understand this and risk, of course you have to risk, but risk like 1 to 2% per trade. You're going to do higher time frame, swing trading, 1 to 2% is fine. But don't go all in, right? Just because you want to increase your return. Because it takes one good trade to double your account. But then if you lose 50% of your account, well, you have to get even more. You have to get 100% to win that back. Guess if you have $1,000, lose 500 on one trade. Well, guess what? Now you have to make 100% the 500 to get back to break even, and that's really tough. The more you lose, the more you have to get back and work to get back. Yeah, so it's really important here. The other reason why people love their account. So the second reason, we talked about bad money management. People are going to risk 15, 20, 70% per trade. But let's talk about having no plan. And this is where I've been there like for so long, having no plan and just doing anything I thought would be good and not having any structure. Okay, that's a big one. So what I used to think is that plans were something that were really, really complete, like tough and difficult to have. It's something that you have to go through and take like an afternoon or a day to plan a schedule, right? This is what people think about plans. And whenever you go online on any freaking website, they're gonna say, well, you have to have a trading plan. You have to create this plan that's gonna give you structure and guidance. But guess what? Having a plan is kind of boring, right? It's not something you want to have. People don't go into trading saying, oh, I'm super excited, I'm gonna create my plan. That's gonna be like the best thing ever. I'm gonna be super excited about that plan. No, like that doesn't happen, right? So then I started to, like, one day I came across a trader when I was traveling in Asia. And he's been on the podcast. I'll let you guys check out. I think it's episode 21. But his name is Alvin. And so that guy helped me to create my first trading plan. The only problem is that plan took me about 30 days to create. Okay, it's a program that he had where you had to go through 30 days to figure out what you're doing, what you want to do, what goals you have, and everything. And at the end of the 30 days, you have a plan. Okay, and I've put all the details of that on my blog. Right, everything is there. The whole the whole process. Okay, it's a big article. I think it's like 3,000 words, but it's explaining you everything you have to figure out. And I'll make sure to put the link after the video here and on YouTube and on the podcast as well. But here's the thing: it takes 30 days, right? That's freaking long. But then you have a big plan. How are you going to use that plan? Well, it's kind of like you don't know. After 30 days, you're kind of, well, okay, I have this like big plan, like 20 pages, 30 pages. How should I use it? And you kind of want to review it sometimes, but you don't feel like it, right? You don't feel like looking at your plan and just reading everything every single day. It doesn't make really a lot of sense. So a couple of months ago, after I started the podcast and started to figure out that trading was pretty simple in the end, right? It doesn't take much complication. Just have a strategy, you know how to execute, you just execute. And the strategy oftentimes is really simple. So then I started to think about, well, what if I was to create only like a checklist for myself? Only like a one-page checklist that would tell me exactly what to do and what to look for. So I did that. I had the checklist. And this is on my blog, so you can get the checklist for free. You can download it, you can print it, and I recommend you print it if you're going to get it. This is how I used to trade back then. And then I thought about, well, okay, that's good, that's one checklist. But what if we could make like a plan or a template? So I could like create any strategy, write it down in that plan, and just use it to trade. I just use that freaking plan. Because then if I go to other markets, other strategies, other time frame, I can just use the same plan and trade. Okay? Just write it down on that plan, that sheet, and trade. Well, guess what? That's what I did then. So I came up with this framework of basically a one-page trading plan that I just wrote down like whatever I had to do. So it goes like there's a few sections, but it goes with at the top what market you're gonna trade, what time frame, what times you're gonna trade. So when are you gonna trade? A single, what entry you look for, what exit you have, and then you write everything down. Okay, so and then you come up with your plan. So that's your plan, and it doesn't have to be tough. So I have this plan every single time on my desk. Okay, this one-page training plan. But compare this to most people. What most people who blow up their account have is like you're gonna ask them, well, so what's your plan? And they're gonna say, well, I don't know, scalping, or price action, or swing trading, or they're gonna say, I'm looking at indicators, I'm looking at Confluence. Guess what? That's not really a plan. Yeah, that's a way of trading. That's a type. It's not a plan. You cannot trade with scalping. Okay, what are you gonna do? What setup are you gonna look for? What's gonna be your signal, your entry, your exit? Okay, those things are not defined. So the more you define them, the easier it's gonna be, and the less stressful and painful it's gonna be for you to trade. If you can just put this down on paper and have this ready on that one-page trading plan, you're gonna make yourself a huge, huge, huge favor. Okay, it's gonna make a big difference. So I recommend you create a plan. The trading strategy, I always talk about this, but it's really simple. Your single, your entry, and your exit. Okay, single, entry, exit. 3 parts. That's it. Okay, nothing else, nothing more. You have something to tell you where to enter, or what to look for, when to enter, when to exit. Okay, those are really simple things. But if you don't define this in advance, it's not gonna work. And here's the second step. It's great to define everything you have in advance. It's great to know what you're gonna do, but you also have to test it. Right? You cannot just say, well, this kind of makes sense, right? It's kind of a good plan. I should maybe try that. No, no, sorry guys, but it doesn't work. You have to test that. Okay, you have to put it in place and go either like in a backtesting software or open up your trading platform, go back a couple of months ago, a couple of years ago, and start to take the trades like as if you were there. Don't look forward, right? Don't look at what's in the future. Just look at what's in the past, and try to move one candlestick at a time. It's really easy to do that in MetaTrader. Really easy to do that on TradingView. Pretty much any platform you can do it like free. But if you want to use a software for that, it's available also. Forex Tester is a good one. Trade Interceptor as well is a great one. I just downloaded it a couple of days ago. But you guys can check this out. So it's really, really easy to do. But you have to do it. And of course, it takes time. I'm not going to say it doesn't take time. It takes time. But the time you put in this, right? There's a saying that says, for every minute you spend planning, you save 18 minutes of your time. Well, it's the same thing with backtesting. 1 minute of backtesting is probably going to help you save $100 or something, right? So you have to figure this out. Well, we talked about it. So the whole process, right? You have your plan on one page, and you can get this trading plan on my website for free. I'll try to put a short link. So thisartoftrade.com/plan. I'll write this down, thisartoftrade.com/plan, and I'll create the link afterwards. You guys can check it out. And it's available to download for free, right? There's no trick, there's no upsell. It's like for free. You get it, do your plan, because I know it's gonna make you a big difference, and you're gonna be able to get clarity, right? That was my biggest goal. When I wanted to have this one-page trading plan, the goal was to have clarity, to feel good when I was trading, not to feel stressed, to feel like I was mastering what I had to do, not like I was just all over the place searching for setup or searching for strategies. No, Like, I know what I'm doing. I know how to evaluate myself, and I'm just doing it. Right? I'm just executing. The game becomes execution at that time. That's a big difference when you can switch from searching, being confused to just executing. Right? You change completely your trading. You change everything. So that's a big thing you can implement. And let me guys know if you have any question on this. Oh, and one last thing, I have this online trading summit next Wednesday, November 23rd. If you guys want to check it out, desiretotrade.com/summit. I think it's going to work. desiretotrade.com/summit. I'll also put the link below. There's going to be a lot of links below, but you guys can check it out and register for that. So desiretotrade.com/summit. And I'll look forward to see you guys there. I do this pretty much every month, but it's really to bring a lot of value. And because I'm tired of seeing people who don't know what they have to do and don't know what they should do, what they should focus on, I want to bring some value and some clarity to the picture. Because there's so many people confusing people online, trying to like talk about any nonsense and any stuff that doesn't work. So I want to make this simple, and I want to make this into a framework that you guys can implement easily. So go on desiretotrade.com/summit right now, register for this event, and I look forward to see you there.